folks, the kilted axeman cometh. How are you guys? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, this video is about this thing here. This great big chunky beast. No, I don't mean me. I mean this great big fat barrel here. It's even fatter than me. And even more barrel shaped. Now, if you've been watching some of the latest videos, you've seen I've been using this. I've been having props on there. I was showing off a knife routine the other day. I've had my Quint action figure sitting on top of his own barrel, on top of this barrel. And it's a great little piece of kit to use as a table, as a display stand. But also, it's a great bit of kit because it's an oldie English beer barrel. This is a standard 36 beer gallons can be held within this. These days now, if you don't get this, this is kind of a rarity. You go to pubs and bars and clubs and they'll be in the pub and you put your drink on it. It's like a table now. Or if you go to one of my locals just down the road, the Cask, they've got these sitting outside, and I sometimes find myself sitting atop one of them in my kilt with my feet up on the wall, causing road traffic accidents. Yes, everyone's got to have a hobby, haven't they? But I love them, and because it's mine and Mrs. Kilt-Man's joint birthday, yes, we have a joint birthday. You can't have anything to yourself, and I use that excuse every single year, I know. We bought ourselves a vintage, well, 17th century bar. I don't mean a great big tavern, but we bought a bar and put it in the front room, the front parlour of Kilt Mansion. And a luxurious bit of kit that is as well. Wonder if we put lights on it, and I try to transform it into the slaughtered lamb from American Wells in London. You've seen it, it's in other videos. Now, the idea was always to get some beer barrels as well, some good old vintage beer barrels, and put them in the room, and maybe some outside here. And as you can see, for this birthday, which is coming up in a couple of days' time, we've added by getting our first of what may become many beer barrels. And Mrs. Kilt-Man said, oh, put it outside for now. So this one now lives outside. But I thought they're fascinating things in the first place. I mean, nowadays, so you get nitro kegs, and they're made out of aluminium, metal or plastic. And you know, they're not very exciting, are they? But these, good old traditional, ancient, you know, they've just got so much character. Great big slabs of wood. So, you know, I thought, well, why not do a little tour around the barrel? Let's roll out the barrel, as they say. So, why are they shaped like this, beer barrels? Because you're talking, this is just shy of 3 foot high, and it holds 36 gallons, beer gallons. If it was spirit, it would be more than that. I don't know how that works out, but that's the way it is. And obviously, wine casks can be a different shape. They're a bit more oval shaped, some of them. But they can also, you can put sherry, you can put wine, you can put anything in these things. These things were also used to store gunpowder, meat, salt, other preservatives. And you could obviously mature whiskies and stuff in these. So I think they're great, and a great talking piece as well. Now, in this country, we tended to use American beer barrels. How would you know they were American? Well, sometimes they were stamped on top, and this one on the lid does have a stamp on it, but it's got 1 or 2 stamps on it, and they're kind of like one's on top of the other, and they've faded over the many years, so you can't read what they are. I'd like to say it looks like Kentucky, but it isn't. But American ones are made of American white oak, which is what this is. And you can tell American ones from French ones, which is the other major common one, because if you look at these hoops, these things are constructed out of what they call staves, these curved wooden staves, and they're held in place by hoops. These things here, in the old days, they were made out of wood, but then they moved on to galvanized iron, which is what you see here. Now, American ones have 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know you can't see the ones, but take my word for it. French ones would have 8 hoops going around the staves and keeping them in place. Now, why are they shaped like this? Well, I was about to say so before. The barrel shape and the big fat part's called the bilge. Now, after lockdown, many of us have got an added bilge now, haven't we? But the reason for that is even one man can manhandle one of these when it's full and heavy because of that shape and because of the curvature of it and the barrel shape, the bilge. You can turn corners with it, so they can manhandle it off the truck, off the wagon, the whatever, the cars, horses, whatever, been bringing it to the tavern or the boozery, and you can shift it down the alleyways and down the cobbled streets and do whatever and angle it and turn it, you know, on a dime. That's the clever point, and it doesn't lose its balance or its weight. The distribution works perfectly. There's always science, you see. To drinking, hard drinking, there's a lot of science goes into that. So the tops of these things are called the head, so you've got a head at the top, but you've also got a head at the bottom, because obviously you can flip it. And, oh, where is it now? Let's just move it around so you can see. I'll just take you on a bit of a tour here. Let's just get the camera off. Alright, if you come down here, what's that? That's the bung, and that sits in the bung hole. They used to be made out of wood, but now they're kind of made out of silicon, apparently. And obviously, you know, you put your tap in there, and that's where you're going to get the good stuff from. But, yeah, have a look at this. It's a beauty, isn't it? It's a beauty. It's also surprisingly comfortable to sit on. I know, because I've perched myself upon it already. Let's get that back in there, hopefully. So, it got me thinking, like, because I'm always talking about movies. What about these in movies? Yeah, they're in every western, aren't they, of course. And one of the greatest westerns ever made, A Fistful of Dollars, Clint Eastwood, the man with no name. He's playing in the township, he's playing off one bunch of bad guys off against another bunch of bad guys, and he gets caught. He's playing this game, and the Mexican bunch capture him. They take him down to the beer and wine cellar, and they torture him like crazy. Like in every Clint Eastwood movie, I've said this many times, he's like a Christ figure. He goes through an epiphany of violence, and then he's reborn for the finale and gets revenge on all these bastards. And he gets the crap kicked out of him, bad style, he's done in. But then to make his escape when they come back, he manages to get himself up above the ramp, so when they open the doors, he shoves one of these down, and a couple of the Mexicans coming through get absolutely crushed to death when these come tumbling down. So there's a great battle moment for you. But what else is there? You've got the Hobbit. Don't all the Hobbits escape from, I don't know, the White Orc or whoever it is? I'm up on Lord of the Rings. I'm not so up on the Hobbit films, to be honest. And don't they all float downstream, and they're all in barrels bobbing up and down the river, and they end up in like Barrel Town or something, I don't know, where they meet Smaug and all that jazz. What else is there? Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, and you've got Bela Lugosi playing Frankenstein's monster, comes lumbering into town, dope. Of course, I've said this many times as well, he's meant to be blind as well, like, but they've forgotten all that bit in the movie, they've ditched that part of it. And he's also meant to speak, but they took out all the dialogue because Bela Lugosi just brought the house down whenever he emoted from behind the Frankenstein monster makeup. And he's pallied up with the Wolfman, Larry Talbot, Lon Chaney Jr., and they've just disrupted the festival of flowers or the festival of wine, whatever it is, and everyone's screaming, and Larry Talbot manages to get the monster on one of these trucks, these carts, these beer wagons, and as the pitchfork wielding mob descend upon them and they take off through the cobbled streets, the monster's pushing loads of these off to try and ensnare and completely do in the pursuers. What else is there? There's got to be 101,000 movies. I got one. Theatre of Death with Vincent Price playing the actor Edward Lionheart, and although he's been believed dead, he's actually got an entourage. He's thrown himself into the Thames after receiving the most scathing reviews of his latest performances, which was a Shakespeare season, and all the critics, the snobby critics, are going to get their comeuppance, and he picks them all off. He's returned from the grave, and he's amassed an army of down and outs who've been living on the banks of the Thames, and they become his cast and his crew and his cronies. And he's even got Diana Rigg in a wig with big sunglasses as one of his lackeys as well, luring these critics into their demises. And one of them, Oliver Lardy, that's Oliver Hardy. Oliver Larding, I think his name is. He's a wine connoisseur, so they lure him into a big wine tasting. And they've got a cask identical to this, I would think, and they plunge him into it and drown him into it. All the deaths are meant to be after like the deaths in Shakespeare's plays, and I think his death is the Duke of Clarence from Richard III, who gets drowned in a vat of wine. So that's his demise. But there must be loads of others. Come on, folks. Comment below, let me know. Roll out the barrel for me. There must be millions of these things. They must be seen in lots of things, even like Tom and Jerry cartoons and stuff like that, and Roadrunner. But we got this from a place called, oh, I always forget this, but I wrote it down. Interior 103, which is in Bootle, Liverpool, on Derby Road. And it's a place of curiosities, furniture, knickknacks, statues, ornaments, just bizarrities. And they have a load of these, and for a very decent price. Decent price. And George and his brother run the place, and it's fantastic. You know, I thoroughly recommend it there. Just if you want to get something a bit off the beaten track, something not so conventional, you know, or if you're doing your house up and you a lot of woodwork is there, and a lot of stuff made out of these barrels, and you can get these barrel lids, the heads, you can get them printed up with different stuff on it as well. So it's great stuff. And £50, 50 of the Queen's English pines secured us one of these, and I think it's well worth it. It's just great good fun. But also they've got a sister shop which is run by George's wife, I think it's his wife, out in Burscough, Lancashire, and that's called Canalside Curiosities, and that has a lot of great stuff in there. We were there just the other day, and oh my god, there's all weird dolls and contraptions and lots of taxidermy, wild boars, those horrible sorts of antlers and desiccated just skulls from the American desert, the Mojave Desert, great big bison or whatever, lots of masks, lots and lots of weird stuff, deep sea divers helmets and things. It's just all oddments and curios. That's wonderful. I could have spent an absolute fortune there, but we'd already spent a fortune drinking the night before, so sadly that one was out. But definitely going to go back there and get some more stuff and shenanigans. So folks, there's a little tour around the barrel, and I think they're great. If you're going to do out, like, I think one of the trends during lockdown was to build outdoor bars in people's gardens, and they were using pallets and stuff. And we've got pallets, well, I've got plenty of them. I was going to build a bar like that myself. I may yet do so, because we've got this guy lurking outside. And obviously you can treat these, I mean they are treated anyway, but because they can withstand anything obviously. But what they do when they get some of these, some of them are much darker, even though it's American white oak, it's still a dark wood. But what they use is like, it's like a chemical acid which whitens it, brings out, you know, the actual fibres of the wood. So a lot of them are sort of a lot lighter because they've used that process on it, which you can do yourself. And obviously you can paint them, you can varnish them, you can stain them, do whatever you want to them, weatherproof them, but do something that's going to live outdoors. But obviously if you're going to have a feature of these things, you've got to have your bar if you are indoor one, because we're going to get more of these. So I reckon there'll be another 2 out here, and maybe another 2 are going to go inside in Kilty's tavern. And someone did say to me, like, why don't you do your knife throwing on it? And I thought, for one split second, I thought, oh yeah, it's going to be great. And then I just realised Mrs. Kilt-Man will be throwing knives at me if I start making great big holes in this beauty. So, even though that is a Frankish throwing axe, that is built and designed to be thrown, I will not be throwing that anywhere near this. So, folks, I thought you there. just enjoy that. It's something a bit different, isn't it? But I also wanted to give a big shout out to, oh God, Interior 103. Why is it, I can remember the one in Burscough, Canalside Curiosities, but Interior 103 just seems to elude me every time. But either way, guys, fantastic stuff, great service, great folks, and a lot of great stuff. So definitely recommend you, if you can, pop on down to these places, whichever's nearest to you, and secure yourself a barrel, because you're gonna have a barrel of fun with these things. So, folks, in the meantime, and indeed this rather stout oak wooden in between time, please keep it kilted, keep it Celtic. Be happy, be healthy, and whatever you're doing, do it well and have fun doing it. Because if you're not having fun doing it, then there's no point doing it, is there? Go and do something else that you enjoy instead. Folks, have been and always shall be at your services. So please, take it easy, and I'm going to see you all. Namaste.